Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast titled Big Man. This was an awesome day for Splatoon fans. Oh my gosh, Garrett. I think a lot of people don't know this about me, but Splatoon is my favorite Nintendo franchise behind Zelda. I almost never talk about it because I feel like the hype for Splatoon 2 has died ever since the Splatfests kind of died out and whatnot. Haven't been into it, but man, I am not going to shut up about Splatoon from this point forward for the next few months. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're ready. Yeah,
I am
all the
super
hype.
ready. all the hype that everyone's been feeling about Xenoblade. This is my time to shine. Before we get into all the news, we have so much news about to talk about because we had a Splatoon 3 Direct this week. In fact, it was today. We were recording on Wednesday this week. Let's just chat about what we've been up to. What have you been doing for the past week?
Well, I just wanted to show you my display. It's not just a bed in the background. Garrett Blaine getting into a podcast, environment. I have some video games to display right here, right on the bed.
That's an A+ setup. I like it. How long did it take you to set up all your games there?
At least an hour. I was trying to figure out what to prop it up with, special techniques and everything, but it looks, floatless. It looks like it's just propped up very evenly.
What was the thought process behind putting Triangle Strategy on the left and Xenoblade on the right?
It was actually a stroke of genius. Earlier this past 30 minutes, I just put one game on the left, one game on the right, and it just clicked. It just really inspired me. Anyways,
I see the genius. I see the genius. Have you been playing much more of Xenoblade 3?
Not so much. I mean, I'm only 12 or 13 hours in. And now everyone else is 90 hours in, and they're way ahead of me and beating the game basically. But I'm taking my time, and also I've been playing some other stuff too. Yeah, I've been really liking the game though. Just taking my sweet time with it. I'm in chapter 3, which is still at the very beginning, where they just introduce you to side quests and hero quests or whatever they call it. And I don't want to leave because I just want to keep continuing doing these quests. This game does a very good job.
I feel like that's the opposite of what you were talking about in Xenoblade 2.
Yes, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and even 1, the side quests are very fetch questy. It's okay, I'm gonna meet this little guy. He's oh, defeat 5 of these monsters. And I'm okay, sounds good. Sure, whatever. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I admit there are some good side quests, but they're still intermixed with these very tedious, monotonous other side quests that are just fetch questy too. So I wasn't really interested in it. This one, they're pulling a Witcher 3 right in front of me. They have cutscenes. They cutscenes into the side quests. And okay, this is your previous person that you had kind of a conflict with during your childhood or during your your earlier years of the game, where you have flashbacks. Now you're going to resolve that storyline with this guy. And then you're going to meet the other colony and the other team where they were at initially before they merged the team together later on in the game. So it does a pretty good job of kind of tightening up, loose ends here and there. It's really cool, actually. And then I've seen some people stick around chapter 3 for 20 or 30 hours, just doing these side quests, just back and forth. So
is it something that you can't go back to after you are done with that chapter and you've moved on? Is that why you're taking your time with it, or you're just really enjoying it?
I'm just enjoying it. I'm going into it, and it's like automatic cutscenes right into the story of that side quest. It's actually pretty nice. It's very smooth transition. It feels like a mainline quest game, like
That's a
a
good
quest in there.
sign that it feels like it's interwoven naturally, that it's not just something busy to, pack the
Yeah.
game. It feels like it's, part of your journey, part of why you're there.
Yeah, they're very good, and you also get like these extra characters in your party. They're not like set in stone in your party, but they're called heroes, and so you gain a roster of all of these heroes, and that's how you get from these side quests, these hero quests or whatever. And of course, you level up your character too, so it's easier to play the game down the road as well. So
Got
all
it.
in all, I think it's a win.
You're
All
going to
of
be
these
in a good
side
place for the
quests.
next few chapters then. You're going to be, higher levels. You're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, and that means I'm gonna be playing this maybe 100 hours. Like it feels
Nice.
like that type of game. I'm gonna just stand there. Then I'm gonna play this little guy, Triangle Strategy,
I wonder how you'll
eventually.
feel about that after you've played Xenoblade 3. If you will feel different about it if you played it before or
Mm.
after. So a totally
It's
different
gonna be
game.
very different because
Yeah.
it's a very different gameplay. I like the story of Triangle Strategy so far just because it's so like the voice acting is pretty good. It's more medieval than anything like in that type of timeline. Whereas Xenoblade is like we're going crazy with the storyline. We're going crazy with all the characters and make it almost anime, but also super dark. Very different timelines and very different gameplay. So I'm probably gonna enjoy it.
Good.
Um, I've been also playing Mario Kart. I actually
Yeah,
played it.
same. Oh my God. What do you think?
Good stuff. I love the tracks, very
Yes.
much so. Yes. I
And this is your
think
first time diving into Wave 1 as well, right? Wave 1 and 2?
yes, I played
Okay.
both Wave 1 and Wave 2 courses. I what I really enjoyed was the remade Nintendo 64 tracks. The
Yes.
that mountain one, the mountain slide, whatever, track that's completely redone, and
Chaco
also the train
Mountain,
track. Yeah, Chaco Mountain, and then the train track one as well. Those
Trail of Mud
two,
Desert. Yes.
yes, huge highlights for me. And what they actually did in those tracks is interesting, where it's completely different,
Mhm.
like kind of each lap. And I'm like, oh, I did not expect this. And then like on the third lap, I was like on the train track, and I was like, oh wait, what? Like this is completely different than the Nintendo
Mhm.
64 one. So,
I love what they did with those, especially the N64 ones, like you said, because I feel like for those who have such nostalgia for those tracks, they were able to make them back then. The courses obviously had to be a lot simpler. They weren't able to do as many flashy things. Technology was a lot more limited. So the
mhm,
fact that they changed it in a much interesting way, but kind of kept that sense of familiarity that you were like, oh yeah, I remember this track from my childhood, but oh my
mhm.
gosh, what if we're on the train tracks? We're driving on them now. It's so cool.
It's very cool, and actually, like, they put a lot of effort, and, like, they looked at the track, and it's like, "Oh, we're gonna port this over." No, it's not like that. They completely remade it from the ground
Mm-hmm.
up. It's super cool to see. I can't wait to see the other older, like, tracks like that. Like, I think they're really focusing on the N64 ones because the GBA one still looked pretty simple, as far as I can tell. The
Mm-hmm.
Waluigi one is pretty good too, the Waluigi pinball. So yeah,
What did
I've
you
been
think
having a
of
blast.
the courses from Tour? Because I assume you have not played any Mario Kart Tour like myself, that these are
Yeah.
brand new for you. What do you think of those? The ones that are based on like New York City,
Mhm.
the Paris one, the Sydney one. What do you think of those?
I think well, I'm trying to remember those tracks because I remember one track. Like I know you're mentioning all these cities. I just can't tell them apart really.
Mhm.
There's one track where it got me really confused. Where
I think I know
you're
which one you're talking
the
about.
one that has like five different ways to get
Yeah.
through this obstacle, and then the third round or the third lap, you're going the opposite way. of
Mhm.
that obstacle, and I'm like, what is happening? So
I think
yeah.
that's true for a lot of the ones that come from Tour because it's the mobile game. The laps are a little bit shorter, so they have to make them different each
Okay.
time. So you're going in different directions. You're, in New York, you're
Hmm.
going down the subway for the last lap. It's very cool.
Gotcha.
But
So
yes, it's
yeah,
very
I'm
confusing at first.
yeah. So I really I guess they're forgetful because it's not really popping in my head, and they just go by so quick. I need to repeat
Yeah.
and just drive through these. The one that I really enjoyed as well was the Japan one. The one that there's like 3 different elevation levels of tracks in that one, and so
Mhm.
going through that was pretty fun as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've been playing that, and you've been playing that as well, right?
Yes.
Mario
Yeah, I
Kart.
feel like it's, the good old days where, friends want to play it, just hop in a couple matches with them. It's not a huge commitment to play a few, rounds of Mario Kart, and it's
For
fun.
sure.
And because we've just been picking the DLC ones because they're the new ones, and yeah, it's a good time.
Nice. I still miss turns. Like, I was just so bad getting into it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drift this turn. And I'm like, wow, I really suck
And
missing
also,
that
I
turn.
think just because, we've been playing this same Mario Kart for how many years? What, it come out in 2015 or so? We've been playing it for 8, 9 years that
Hmm.
I feel like I know all of these courses like the back of my hand, and the fact that the DLC courses, it's finally something either new, like totally new for me, or just something that I haven't played in so long that it's not my brain going into autopilot anymore. I actually have to be thinking while I'm playing
Yeah,
again.
me too. Especially like I don't know why is in every time too, every lab, there's just like this 1 or 2 turns where I don't get, and I just like, okay, what am
Same.
I
Same.
doing off there? But yeah, I'll definitely come back to it more often for sure. I do enjoy just playing around at least. It'll take like 15 minutes, like
Mhm.
maximum. Just go through a round of it.
Exactly.
Uh, I've also been playing this is very recent. I've been playing this demo of one of the Square Enix games, one of the 20 that's coming out this fall. Um,
I've
yeah,
heard about this one. So it caught my eye because it looks like it has. Is this the one where the cover looks exactly like the same as Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But is it
So
the same type of game?
not no, it's not an HT2D game.
Okay, tell me about it.
Um, All right, so this is called the Diofield Chronicles. It's a weird name. I don't know why they call it this.
They have the weirdest names. These Square Enix games, I feel like I feel Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler,
Live Alive.
Live Alive. Yeah, what the heck? Come up with better names.
It's crazy. Okay, so Diofield Chronicles. It is a collaboration actually. It's mainly developed by this other studio. I forgot the name, but they made Monarch earlier this year. Um
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been just diversifying a lot of different games here. And this is a real time isometric like strategy game where you basically control the set amount of units in the field. It's very similar to Fire Emblem where you're looking like top down or isometric in a way and you're facing enemies, but instead of being turn based, it's real time. You have to like get your units, move to a certain position to an enemy, and then you do a constant attack one another. I don't know if you've seen League of Legends or Dota or anything. It's very
It
similar like
reminded me
that.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah. You like they approach an enemy and you go back and forth attacking each other, and then you have skills on top of it.
Mhm.
Actually that's actually a good comparison. Is League of Legends or Dota? Only it's like 4 or 5 units instead of your one hero.
Mhm.
Um, and so you just kind of go from point A to point B throughout the map, and you can position yourself to have critical attacks on the enemy units. And right now, the enemy units are not varied so much. It's just really bowmen and knights, and so you just have to worry about the bowmen attacking you too much or knocking you out from range. And so you just got to manage all of that. It's okay so far. The story very it's very mid. It's the definition of mid. Like, I don't want to know about this. I don't really care about it. and they try to be so they try to be so into it. They take
Really?
itself too seriously. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's not good.
all right, guys, like calm down. Like I know
Yeah.
you're into this whole medieval knighthood, mercenary, whatever, but you can calm yourself with the formalities of the language and like
Mhm.
going. I don't know. It just seems so silly.
It's, like, over the top in a way.
It's very over the top. I cringe a little every time they just talk. It's like, "Do you wanna join this unit?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, please just join the unit." But other than that, it's very exceptional. I like playing it on the Switch. It's very stable. It's also releasing on other platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. I feel like this is more of a PC game, but it feels just fine on the controller, even though it's a real-time combat game.
Do you know if it uses the touchscreen of the Switch at all?
I do not. I need to check that out. But I would say for the most part, it doesn't. I
Okay.
would think it would be a port. I wouldn't count on it. And also this demo is it's just the beginning of the game. So you just carry over the save data for the full game as well, just like what they've been doing with the other demos. So yeah, I want to try on Switch. I want to try on Xbox, see what the difference is. But really, Switch is fine. It's very playable. It's just playing it just fine. So it's
Cool.
an easy game. I'm managing it just fine. I wonder how it gets later on in the game, but I feel like it's okay for what it is. It's a unique gameplay for sure. It does get a lot of elements from Monarch, with the kind of isometric view and the combat. But the real time stuff is they don't really mess. A lot of role playing games don't mess with that. So I'm glad they're trying it out and see how it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
That's good that they put out a demo too, so that you can try it, try it out. When does the game come out?
The game comes out in September. I just forgot
Okay, so that's
exactly
kind
when
of
in
soon
September.
too. I feel like this is going
Yeah,
very far under the radar.
yeah, because Square Enix has so many other freaking games
Hmm.
coming out later this year as well. They got Valkyrie Elysium. They got uh, Final Fantasy something. September 22nd is when
Okay,
this game comes out. Yeah,
cool.
I
Yeah,
probably
so
won't get
check this
it
out. You
day
can try
one,
it.
but yeah.
That's catching your interest at least.
Yes, I'm playing through it, and it's just it's not. I don't think it's gonna be better than Triangle Strategy or Xenoblade, but it's a fine role playing game so far.
Okay,
So yeah,
cool.
that's it. What about you?
The only gaming that I've done this week took place within a 12-hour period on Sunday, in which I did my 12-hour stream. It was a success. It was actually a 13-hour stream, as it turned out, but
What?
I
Yeah.
got a lot. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. A lot of people came out and hung out with me. We played some of Mario Kart together. We did some video game trivia. I tried out a few games from the community. I had three of my community members pick games for me to try at least 1 hour of. And so one of them that I played was a fighting game that was on the GameCube. It was Capcom versus SNK
Okay.
EO or whatever the letters were afterwards.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was actually a lot of fun. And I feel like I'm not the type of person who like seeks out fighting games, but I always have fun when I play them.
Hmm.
Especially this one because I am a Street Fighter fan. And so a
Hmm.
lot of my favorite Street Fighter characters, obviously these famous Street Fighter Capcom characters are in the game. But then also characters that I have heard, like SNK characters that I have heard of, mostly from all of the discourse around Terry joining Smash. All of the other characters that I wanted to get into Smash instead of
Hmm.
him, I got to test them out and play as them for a little bit, and it was a
Nice.
lot of fun. And I was actually kind of good at it, so that was a fun time. I tried out. I don't know if so. I think this game is on the Switch, but I played it on Steam. Have you ever heard of Evoland?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's an indie, but it's so
Yeah.
bizarre. I've never played a game like it before where it it's kind of parodying RPGs throughout the years. Like it starts out as like this little 8-bit, you can only move left and right, there's no sound.
Mm-hmm.
Then every time that you open up a chest, you like unlock something that is a feature of an RPG. Like you
Mm-hmm.
unlock the ability to carry items, I unlock the ability to move diagonally, you unlock the
Oh,
ability
that's
to like
interesting.
slay enemies, you unlock turn-based battling, like, and then as you go it turns from 8-bit.
I don't know what
Hi.
happened. Hi.
Was that me?
That just
Was that
happened.
was that a me problem?
I don't know. It just like you froze on one screen and you just came back in. So you're
Oh,
here though.
okay. I'm here. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So you go from like 8-bit to 16-bit. Eventually, you unlock more detailed textures. You eventually unlock like a 3D type of perspective. And so I didn't finish it, but it's pretty cool to see like how things progress. And there are so many references to famous games that we know of. Like the main character's name is Clink, and then
Of
you
course.
end up rescuing the woman character named, it was like Karis or something, like definitely played off of like Final Fantasy's Eris.
Mm-hmm.
There were just a lot of references, and it was really fun. I think like
That's cool.
RPG fans, it was like it's pretty cheap. I think on PC and Switch. So if you like
Yeah, it's on Switch. I think it's on
RPGs, like it's
everything. So
apparently a very short game. I only played about an hour
cool.
of it, but I don't think I had too much more to go. Very cool experience. And then I ended up playing a little bit of Okami. Have you ever played Okami, Garrett?
I haven't, but I do have it on Switch
Well,
and I
you're
want to try
familiar
it
with
out.
it. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yes,
yeah.
I very much
So
so.
that's where I have it. And it's a game that I have always wanted to play, but just the length of it is very off-putting for me because it's kind of a longer game, and I feel like that's a big commitment. But there's no better time to start it, and I love the mechanics of that game. First of all, it is so beautiful. Holy crap! What a beautiful art style. I wish that more games would lean into these really stylized type of artistic looks instead of
Hmm.
the same old realistic normal, I don't know, not to poop on those games, but it's so beautiful. The mechanic, I was a little bit unsure of like how it would be with on the Switch with the paintbrush, using the
Right.
paintbrush to like kind of fill in details. Maybe you are trying to like fill in the constellation, or you're trying to like build a bridge across the water. You use it to attack enemies. It's very cool. I really like it, and I feel like an
Hmm.
hour of that game definitely did not do it justice for me to get into it, because it opens up with a lot of lore that really draws you in before you get into the gameplay. Um, but what I did play of it, oh my gosh, so fun, so fun. And from what I
Nice.
heard, it's the best Zelda game that you play as a wolf. So
Interesting. I
I
heard it's
would
an
like
old
to.
game too,
I think
right?
it originally came out on GameCube. It could be Wii.
I think it
GameCube or
originally
Wii,
came
around
out
that
on
era.
GameCube or
Yeah,
Wii or something
yeah.
like yeah. So and
But
they've
yeah,
just
it's
been refreshing it ever
yeah.
since,
So
putting on
the
everything.
the Switch version is Okami HD. It looks so nice on the Switch. I would definitely recommend playing it there instead of the original, because it just looks so beautiful.
Nice.
But yeah, then I just played some other stuff, nothing really Switch related. I played this really funny dating game.
The
I played a
dating
little bit
game.
of Stray with my cat modded
Right.
in, and just a fun time. But that's what the gaming I've been doing this week. Uh,
Cool.
I'm so
No
excited to talk
Golden
about
Sun.
Splatoon. No Golden Sun. I'm sorry. Did you play
No
Golden Sun
Golden
this
Sun.
week?
I
No, I
have
know.
played Golden Sun.
Ah,
Yes.
I keep putting it
I
on the shelf.
am
I know. I keep saying I'm going to go back to it. I'm such a bad
I beat another boss,
game
a
club.
really big boss in this. I I still want to like not give you any impressions yet.
I know. I know. The
But
time
let me
will
tell you,
come. The time will come.
I think I'm very much not in line with the majority
Really?
of
I
Golden.
feel like you're very flip flopping. You were into it, then you weren't into it, then you were into it again. Now you're not feeling it again.
It's rough. It's pretty rough on my end. I don't know.
Wow.
I think people have rose-colored glasses with older role-playing games.
You think
That's
so?
my take. Well,
Some role playing,
some
some of them.
some Chrono Trigger's great.
Thank
Don't
you.
get me wrong.
Thank you. That's what I was waiting for here.
Golden Sun, I'm like, "Ugh," I'm sure it was great back then. It's just now I'm like, oh gosh, come on. Do I have to get
What?
through this?
Okay, yeah. I know you don't want to like share too much about
It's
why.
really just the random encounters really bug me. That's really the biggest thing about it. If it didn't have random encounters all the time,
Huh.
I would have a much better time, I think,
So
with
do
this
you
game.
feel like if they did reboot or remake this game, there are easy things to fix to make it great?
I think you can fast forward the game for sure. Like in battles, make it 20 times faster. Like have a mod like let's make this 20
So
times faster.
that's what they did in Chrono Cross. Like the battles are
Yeah.
so slow. They are painfully slow, but they added a
Yeah.
fast forward button that speeds through it. And so like you're not missing anything. It just literally goes faster and it's great.
Mhm. I wonder if they did do a remake that they totally eliminate the random encounters and put monsters in there. I would think that would I don't think they would do that because that that's a big mechanic to change in a game and make it coherently like you
Yeah.
know compatible together. So I mean I wouldn't like press on them to do random encounters, but man, they need a fast forward button.
Yeah.
Like it's
You're
rough.
playing on Retroid Pocket?
I'm playing on Retro Pocket. I'm wondering if I
You
can just
you
map a
can
button to like
you
20
can
times faster.
yeah, you could do that.
Okay, I should do that
Yeah.
actually for that. Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
I just
Definitely make it
been
more
not doing that.
enjoyable. Yeah.
Well, it's also aimless too. I don't like I have to look up a guide. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you're done with this boss. Now you're going to go west. I'm like, how am I
How
supposed
would
to
you
know
know
that?
that? Yeah. Yeah, that's
How
no
am I
good.
supposed to know that?
I
Anyways,
guess like back then,
I'm good.
like they they relied on you taking that long, but I feel like it's already a long-ish game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Well, let's talk
that's it.
Splatoon. Let's talk
Let's
Splatoon
talk
because I feel like
Splatoon.
that's what
Finally.
everyone's waiting for.
30 minutes in, we're finally talking about it.
We have been waiting, I feel like, all summer to hear some Splatoon
Yep.
news. The game is releasing in a month from yesterday, September
Mhm.
9th. And I told you, as soon as it gets Xenoblade out of the way, we would have a Splatoon Direct. And they announced it on Monday. It was today.
There it
It was
is.
32 minutes of information. I'm going to go through it. Are you ready, Garrett?
Yes, go through it.
So, a good part of the beginning was really just a big overview of basic information about what
Yes.
Splatoon is, how to play it. Like if you've played either Splatoon 1 or 2, the beginning was a little bit of a snooze, but I feel like it was necessary because there's a lot of people who missed out on both of those games who are interested in it. They talked about how to battle in turf wars, what inklings are. So there is a good amount of old features returning, such as turf wars, ranked battles, salmon run. Those are all returning. One of the biggest changes is how Splatfests will work this time. So instead of choosing between two teams like you did in both of the first two games, you're actually choosing between three teams this time. And the Splatfests are going to take place in two parts. The first half of the Splatfest will just be a regular turf war like it's always been. But then for the second half, because there's three teams, it's going to turn into what they're calling a tricolor turf war. So I was a little bit confused
Oh,
about this at
dang.
first because all of the maps are
Yes.
symmetrical. How do you put three teams in this? It's actually a 4 versus 2 versus 2 mode. So the
Yes.
leading team, the top team in that first half, all four of the players get sandwiched in between two players from the second and third place teams. So you have two from second place team, two from the third place team, moving in towards four players from top team, which seems a little bit odd at first, I think, but I feel
Mhm.
like that was probably the best way for them to balance it. So that's going to be just for Splatfest, and I guess it's going to change up the strategy for how Splatfests work. They introduced us to the new pop star idols. So in Splatoon 1, we had Callie and Marie. Splatoon 2, we had Marina and Pearl. This time, the pop star idols are from the band Deep Cut, We have
Deep
Shiver, the
cut.
Octoling,
Nice.
Fry, the Inkling, who everyone is talking about her massive forehead. I don't know if you've seen all the memes about
I've
that.
seen it. Yes.
But then everybody has fallen in love with Big Man. He's this big
Big
manta
man.
ray, stingray guy. He's not an Inkling or Octoling at all. Everyone has fallen in love with him. Big Man is the man. Some big news that the news that they introduce in the beginning, the introduction, when you turn on the game each time, you can finally skip it. Do you remember everybody was saying,
Oh,
man,
yes.
if I
Thank
could just
goodness.
finally skip that information in the beginning, it takes so long to boot it up. Finally, you don't have to sit through that every time now. It'll show kind of in the top corner of the screen. In addition to that, there's a ton of other quality of life updates this time, such as an easier way to team up with your friends. There will be little ghosts in your lobby that you can walk up to, kind of see what mode they're in right now. You can invite them to play, you can hop into their game. Other things like saving your favorite loadouts, like to quickly switch between them. You don't have, like, if you have certain gear for certain weapon, you don't have to change it up every time. You can actually save your loadouts, which is very nice. There's going to be 12 stages at launch. I know a lot of people were worried about how many stages would be at launch. 5 of these 12 stages are going to be brand new. And then, of course, like always, more will be added over time. They always come in free updates. They're adding so there's no new ranked modes as of right now. There could be later, but they are adding something new called table turf battles. And Garrett, as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh my
You
God, I
thought.
need to know what Garrett thinks about this, because
Oh, I'm so ready.
it is a 1v1 card deck building mode in the game. So it's supposed to simulate the turf war battles. One
Right.
person versus one person trying to ink the most turf, but it's done through in-game collectible cards. And then each player is going to receive a starter deck, and then you can, I guess you get cards from that mode. Maybe you get them from Salmon Run, maybe you get them from various places, but you're going to build your deck, and then that will give you the ability to do more things in this game. Tell me what you think.
Oh, I'm so excited. I couldn't believe it. It's like, here's our new mode, a deck building mode.
So all those times I feel like, remember we would get questions like, oh man, if you can make a Splatoon spinoff, what kind of spinoff would you make? We
Right.
never came up with this. How do they always come up with brand new things that like don't even cross our mind?
I don't know. I never like, this is so left field. And this is such, like, you know, down my alley. Like, I just recorded like last week on Monday all about deck building role playing games. And now guys, I'm really into deck building. Like, I
It's
love
this for
Yu-Gi-Oh, I
you.
love
You would
Magic.
probably buy Splatoon 3 just for this mode.
No joke. This piqued my interest. This might be my most exciting aspect of Splatoon 3.
Ooh. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
this
I've
is
never
cool.
played a deck building game before. I don't really know a lot about them. This one looks
Sure.
simple enough that like a newcomer to that genre like me could probably understand and get a grasp on.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you just play cards on that whatever field, and like each card looks like a unique shape, and that shape kind of like, I guess you place it correctly, can like place over the enemy turf. So it looks like very similar to, the Splatoon concept, just more in a card based way than
Yes.
anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like, so if you're already familiar with a lot of Splatoon concepts, like there are cards for each special, there's some for weapons,
Yeah.
some for characters. Like if you're already familiar with those things, you might already have a grasp of what each card will probably do.
Mhm.
So I think that'll be really cool. I hope that
That'd be
I
really
guess we
cool.
could team up with friends online. Like it's not just against random players. So I would definitely love to play this with you. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, if I would be totally down to play with friends on this one. That would be, I hope it's not just online friends or online people. I would
Yeah.
love to like play with other friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
Super
John32 in
neat.
chat wants to know, do you think they would build a physical card game spinoff? I think that would be so cool if they somewhere down the road release like a physical, like if this really takes off, they could print this and produce this and people would buy it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, like cards it can be hard if you don't if you're not fully invested into like the card business, like competitive
Right.
play, but they can make it very limited run. They can sell it on Nintendo Store and just be
I
fine.
mean, who better to do it than Nintendo, who was founded on playing cards?
That's true.
Go back to
Definitely.
their
So
roots. But yes, this looks
exactly.
like a fun new
I'm
mode.
down.
Yeah, I knew you would be. And I feel like I was a little bit disappointed at first, and I'll talk about, more of my in-depth thoughts, but when they didn't announce a brand new ranked mode at
Right.
launch, I was a little bit disappointed about that, but then I feel like this made up for it because I'll be able to put some hours into this
Mhm.
until some other ranked
Until
mode
the
comes.
next mode kind of
Yeah.
releases.
Yeah.
I hope they put a lot of post game content into this
It
game.
sounds like
That's
they
my
are.
expectation.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get to that. So they announced a few new weapons, like the splatanas, I guess you say. It's like a katana weapon, but with ink and
Splatana Nuss. Yeah.
something like that. I don't even know if I spelled it right. It's like supposed to be like a katana, and it is like a
Okay.
long range sword. There's new specials, new ways to move through the ink to do damage. There's lots of new
Right.
customization options. Like you can decorate a locker that your
Mhm.
friends can look at. You can decorate your own splash tag with like your own title and, kind of like how they do in lots of other shooters. And
Mhm.
then victory emotes you can customize so that if you win, like it would just do a random dance, but now I guess you can choose the dance that it does for you. I don't. It's like very
Nice.
Fortnite-y, but I don't care. It's so cool. They made it easier to team up with friends online. They briefly went over the single player story mode, the return of the mammalians. It
Right.
seems to me like it's going to be pretty similar to the first two game single player campaigns, where it's
Okay.
really just giving you like a tutorial of each weapon, level to level. There's not too much depth behind it. That part was also pretty disappointing for me. I was
Disappointing,
hoping
yeah.
that they would like do something a little bit more like the Octo expansion, but I probably won't play very much of this if it's like the first two.
Mhm.
Um,
Definitely.
that part was sad to me, but that's okay. They showed off Salmon Run, some new Salmon Run bosses, and then they did talk about post launch. So there will be updates for at least 2 years after the game releases, which let's keep that timeline in mind for a Switch Pro, by the way. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
a new catalog of gear and weapons will be released every 3 months, they said. So X battles and league battles are both types of ranked modes that were in Splatoon 2. Those are coming at a later point. Those aren't going to be there at launch. Those are coming around the holidays,
Interesting.
they said. And get this, they said large scale paid DLC is planned. They didn't say what that was, but they said
Mhm.
large scale. What do you think?
Large scale. I don't know what to make of that. It doesn't sound just like a single player expansion deal to
Yeah.
me. But that's just
Yeah,
me.
that was interesting wording. I agree.
Yeah, large scale. It sounds like it's gonna be m more season pass, like, battle pass related,
Do you think so?
maybe additions. I don't know. Large scale. I have not seen those words describe a DLC before. I
I
guess
know.
it sounds like it's extensive. It reminds me actually a lot about the Mario Kart DLC courses because that's a large
I
scale
would definitely call
related.
that large scale. Yeah, like over, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a big package over time kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting. Hmm.
mhm.
So,
I don't think it's just a self-containing single player game. I think they're gonna add a lot more different maps, modes, or whatever to this large scale
right.
DLC. Maybe.
Right. I mean, we already know that there's a lot of free stuff that's coming. They talked about the catalog that's every
Right.
3 months. We know that there's going to be Splatfest every probably month or so. New stages that they said will be added over time. So, really, it'll be interesting to see what this is and
Mhm.
when it comes. I think the Octo expansion came about a year after launch. So, probably
Oh wow.
sometime like
Yeah.
summer next year, we can expect, hopefully, to hear something.
Yeah.
They did show off new amiibo of a boy octoling, a girl inkling, and a little small fry salmonoid. Those will be releasing this holiday. They're compatible with the game. And they did announce Splatoon 3, the Splatfest world premiere. So we knew that well, we didn't know, but we hoped and predicted that
guessed
this
it.
would be coming. Yeah, Global Splatfest. So this will be a free demo of the game this month through a Splatfest that anybody can play as long as you have Nintendo Switch Online, which, by the way, if you download this demo, which I think you can start downloading it on the 25th, you can get 7 free days of Nintendo Switch Online. So anybody can play this.
Cool.
On August 27th, there will be rock versus paper versus scissors. So remember, there's 3 teams this time. You get to pick which team you want to be part of. Team Rock, everybody. Pick Team Rock. That's going to be the team that wins.
Oh, dang. Already picking your
August,
team.
August 27th. So from 9 a.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. So noon to midnight for us Eastern folks. That's when it's going to take place. So the first half from 9 to 3, it's going to be regular turf war, regular Splatfest as you know it. And then from 3 to 9, the second half is going to be that tricolor turf war that we talked about, where whichever team was in the lead, 4 of those players are sandwiched in the middle, 2 players on either side.
That's cool.
Can go in, attack them, and then I'm really curious how that's going to play out to a winner. Like, is that almost a bad thing to be in the lead for that second half? I don't know. Is it? Like, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's still like a balance thing, right? Because it's overall 4 players against another 4 players. I feel like the 2 could be at a disadvantage, but then again, it's 2 of them facing another 6 out there. You have a lot more targets out there. So,
and
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
so like if you are red and the other team of 2 is blue and you're going in on yellow, do you purposely not go after the blue guys to try to bring down the yellow guys because they're on top? Like, what do you do? I don't know. There's going to be interesting strategy involved.
Yeah, definitely. So
I'm
I'm
excited.
down.
Yeah, August 27th, and thank goodness they put it on a weekend where I'm actually, my biggest fear, Garrett, was that they were going to have a global Splatfest this weekend. I'm going to be away all weekend at a wedding. So I was like, please do not have it this weekend. I'm going to be away. So no, it's August 27th. Very excited.
They heard your calls. End of the month. Gave us plenty of time to, clear our schedules and make sure that we'll have that day off. Is 27th a Saturday or Sunday?
It is, and
Let's
it's a
check.
full 12 hours too.
Cool.
So you can play, since it's kind of split off into 2 halves, like, play a little bit in the morning or afternoon, play a little bit in the evening. I'm very excited. What did you think overall of this direct?
It was a good overview of what this game is in the beginning of like the start of it and introducing it. I'm very excited to get this game for sure. Actually, when I was looking, the first 10 minutes, not like the rest of the stuff, which was like a lot of extra things, but like the first, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes, I'm like, I mean, like, I didn't play Splatoon 1, so I don't have a comparison to Splatoon 2, but when I see this, I'm like, this looks like Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people on Twitter saying that. Like, what is the reason? Why should I be upgrading? Why, what is this offer that you can't already do in Splatoon 2?
Yeah. So and that was really the first 7 to 10 minutes. I think it justified a little bit more on the later 2/3 of the game of like, here are the additions, here are the edits, here are the salmon run being unlimited. Thank you. Thank the Lord.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Salmon Run is unlimited now. So instead of having to wait certain arbitrary time periods where you log on, it's like, oh man, I wanted to play Salmon Run, but it won't be available for 4 more hours. No, it's going to be 24/7 now. It's you could do it whenever you want, which thank God.
Yeah, there's Salmon Run, and I think they have like they said they have an extra mode on there for certain times, like a big boss mode or what. Oh, man, what was it? It was called again. I forgot exactly the name.
But you're right. Yeah, a big boss might appear or something like that.
But the Salmon Run is unlimited. Thank you. That's good. I do like the friends lobbies and being seamlessly connecting with friends and like being on their team. I think that's a good like from Splatoon 2. I mean, I think that fully justifies me switching. I was like, okay, I'm able to join Rebecca whenever I want and
Mhm.
be on her team.
And we can actually be on the
That's
same
good.
team. There was nothing more frustrating than wanting to, like, if you and I wanted to play on Splatoon 2,
Hmm.
one of us would have to start a game. Like, I would have to
Right.
start jumping in a game. Then you would have to join me, wait for that game to be over. You couldn't even spectate. It would just say, like, waiting to join lobby. Hope somebody leaves. If nobody left, we
Right.
would have to sit through another game and then finally get in. And then, first game, like, we might be on different teams. There was no way to pick. So, it wasn't ideal at all. It was a big flaw. I'm very
Hmm.
glad that they're taking care. I really do feel like they listened to a lot of the problems that we had from Splatoon 2,
For
like the
sure.
skippable intro, the
Yeah.
matchmaking, the salmon run. They did fix. I can't really think of too many quality of life things that they aren't fixing here.
Right. I think
Um,
one of the
yeah,
biggest mechanics that I don't know, this was not in Splatoon 2, but the fact that you can go in the ink and then you go up and am I right? Like there's like a second of like invincibility of some kind,
they are
right?
adding, yes. So this is new in Splatoon 3 where they're adding the two. I kind of glossed over this in our summary here. There's two other like movements or something. I
Right.
forget the word that they called it. One of it, it's yeah, it's like kind of like a power jump up a wall. And
Right.
so it like kind of launches you at a faster speed up the wall and it gives you more power, I guess, if there's somebody up there so that like you don't
Mhm.
get splatted right away. And then there's another one when you're jumping out of the ink, it kind of does like a little spin and it reflects the ink of the other team so that
Right.
like it can't hit you. Like it's kind of a defensive mechanism, I guess, but it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
has power towards it. So it's
That's
like, yeah, yeah. I thought that was
that's
interesting
interesting.
too. They
They're
didn't
adding
really,
a lot more defensive related mechanics into this game than ever
mhm.
before, I think.
Squid Surge is the one up the wall, and Squid Roll
Okay.
is the one like across the ground.
Got it. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I did like them showing off one of the big power-ups, and that's the ones like the vending machine where you like power
yeah.
up your whole team. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that is cool. They're considering more supportive type characters.
Hmm.
And I'm more of a supportive person. Like I don't want to damage all the time. So that would be like a totally a power weapon I would choose
Yes, I think as
sometimes.
long as everybody grabs it, each person gets like a speed boost or whatever the boost is. They might get like a defensive boost or whatever
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
machine is. Yes, I thought those were cool too. I do like the new specials, the new weapons and stuff that they were showing.
Hmm.
I think my two biggest disappointments walking away from this, which I already mentioned, the no new ranked modes. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know, and I'm seeing a lot of criticism about this, but it makes sense to me in this day and age. Like there are so many different types of modes in shooters that you could draw ideas from, and I know that they didn't add any new ones at launch in Splatoon 2 either, but they added Clan Blitz a few months later or a year later or
Hmm.
something like that. I do hope they add something sooner rather than later, something new, just because I really like
Yeah.
ranked mode and I was really looking forward to something new. Yeah, something like Prop Hunt. Like Prop Hunt would be so much fun in Splatoon. I love Prop Hunt. But like there's so many ideas. I feel like, I don't play a lot of shooters, but I know that there are lots of different modes in those games.
Hmm.
And so that was disappointing that there's not going to be something new there. And then I don't know, I'm also disappointed that the single player mode is looking to be just as boring as the first two.
Yeah, just hey, here's an introduction to they literally said it in the
Yeah.
video too.
They didn't spend that
Introduction
long
to
on it
weapons
either.
and
Yeah.
power up. And I'm like,
They're
okay,
basically
this is what's
like,
gonna be
this
like.
is, filler. This is just to have a single player campaign for those of you who don't have Switch Online, which like I feel like I'm buying this game for the online anyway, but I
Everyone
don't
should
know.
be buying it for the online,
Yes.
at
Don't buy
least
it for the single
initially.
player. I feel
Yeah,
like
don't
we
buy it
got
for the
so
single player.
spoiled with the Octo expansion. I was hoping that it would be something more like that they learned from that, but I'm not like gonna get too down about those things because I feel like they can those are things that can be added or changed later. Like they could add a
Yeah.
ranked mode later. They could add, an Octo expansion DLC thing like later.
Mhm.
But I really like what they showed us. I think I'm gonna put a stupid amount of hours into this game, Garrett. I'm not gonna be playing anything else.
Yeah. Is this like your rest of the year type of game? Is like this is your daily game from now on,
Yes.
pretty much. Yeah, I'm still like the beginning of the video really looked like Splatoon 2, and I'm like, ooh, it's not changing
Visually,
that
yeah.
much.
Visually, it looks
Yeah.
a lot more like Splatoon 2 than how Splatoon 2 looked to Splatoon 1, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Like there was
Gotcha.
more of an upgrade between 1 and 2 than between 2 and 3 visually. Visually.
I'm very interested about this table turf battles as well. How you obtain cards. Um, what do you if you win a battle? What does that like? Is there a ranked mode? Like, I feel like this is just the beginning. For that
You
mode.
could, yeah, you could earn exclusive rewards for all we know. I don't know.
Hmm. You ready to get into your phone, into your Nintendo Switch app,
Oh,
and go on your split?
Splatnet is keeping that alive. No, they actually do a pretty good job with that. I did use it in Splatoon 2. You can
Okay.
order exclusive gear from it. It's something that you
Right.
check every couple, once a day or something, and you're looking for one really specific type of gear. Maybe they have it. You can order it. It looks like there's some more things that you can do. There's like stat keeping in it. I think replays of stuff. I don't know. It's actually worth having. I would definitely try it. I don't use it for voice chat, but I
No
use
one
it for
should.
everything else. Yeah.
Right.
So
So, anyways, cool. That is Splatoon 3.
day one purchase
Everyone's
for
gonna
you.
get it. I'm sorry?
Day one purchase for you.
I think so, yeah. I will
Yeah.
be getting this day one.
Heck
I wanna
yeah.
play with all you guys in the beginning
Oh my
because,
god.
you know, there's all the hype initially for Splatoon, and
Yes.
everyone wants to play it, and I wanna play with everyone, so
This game
there you go.
needs definitely everybody to buy it. It needs all the attention. It needs to sell a billion copies. We have some questions that people wrote in.
Alright.
G-Man wants to know, so during the story mode trailer, it was talking about it being the finale for that saga. That makes me think, will we still get Splatoon 4? Does the series need a break like Xenoblade? That's a good question because G-Man brings up a really good point. They did say that. They said that it is the like epic conclusion or finale or whatever their wording was to
Right.
that single player story, which it does have a story. It doesn't have the depth that Octo expansion has, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really remember too much of the story behind 1 and 2. I'm curious to see, like, I guess how that the mammalians tie into it. I
Right.
hope that means that they plan to do something different for the next campaign, that it's not going to
Right.
be, this type of thing. So I don't know. I think we definitely will get Splatoon 4. This series is not going anywhere. It might not be for a while though, because it sounds like, and we touched on this before, it might overlap with new hardware this game if it's going to be
That's
supported
true.
for 2 years. Like, you would say we're getting new hardware within 2 years, right?
I would certainly hope so.
I feel like
Um,
that's, you know, eh,
I was wrong 2
next
years
year is
ago.
debatable, sure, but 2 years, like, I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
It's a safe bet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying 2 years, I'm like, okay, I just hope there's a Switch Pro type revision then. I don't like or a Switch 2 with some very good easy backwards compatibility. Um Hopefully closer, like within 2 years than far out of 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you'll be playing on your 20 you can play your original 2017 Switch in 2024 with the latest content of Splatoon 3. yeah, that's gonna be a
Did you
thing.
think we
So,
would be saying that? I did not think that we would have a Splatoon 3 on this iteration of the Switch. I really didn't.
oh really? Okay.
I said this so
I
many times. You can go back to so many podcasts where I said, hell no, it's not going to happen. We're not going to get Splatoon 3 until the next console.
I think they've been just very wish-washy of like what's the next system. Or we've been wish-washy.
We've
They are
been so wish-washy. It's ridiculous.
they've been fine. They're like, okay, Switch sells. We are good.
Uh-huh.
Put another Splatoon in there, and we can drag this out as much as we can.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were gonna get one, but I was more believing we could just because Splatoon 2 was a launch game, and also they dropped that content like it was hot. Like they were just done. And here a little sprinkles of Splatfests here and there, but other than that, they were just done
There
with
was
that game.
sort of. I actually disagree because they said that they were going to have content for 2 years and then they kept going after that. And they're like,
Okay.
this is the last Splatfest. Oh, but just kidding. Here's a few more Splatfests. Oh, but just kidding. Here's another Splatfest. And then they
Right.
did come out with like a really big content update at one point that added a ton of new gear, a ton of new clothing, things like that. So
Okay.
they did
So they
support that
kept
game
supporting it
really
for
well.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but here we are, a new Splatoon game, end of a saga. That's so weird to hear because I don't think of lore when I think of Splatoon, but I know
There's
it
lore.
has
There's a
very deep
lot of
lore.
lore. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish there was a single like other than the Octo expansion, I wish there was more just girth on the single player
I know.
aspect and like get into the story
Which
other
there
than just
is.
being online play.
I could just be too harsh on it, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to Octo. Go play it. It's free if you have the online expansion. It's free. Play it.
I would never think you can compare Splatoon and Xenoblade, and here you go, G-Man, you did it. You compared Splatoon and Xenoblade within a question. So,
Nice.
there you go. Thank you. I thought you were frozen for a second. You were really
No.
thinking.
I
I was like, crap, is she frozen?
I'm here. I'm here. Tom wants to know what ideas for Splatfests we have. I posted a little meme on Twitter, the 3 Zelda CDI games. Wand of
That would be
Gamelon,
perfect.
Faces of Evil, Zelda's Adventure.
That's a good one. I've seen the starters of the Pokemon.
Ooh, like Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle.
I've seen that, and then the newest
Ooh,
ones,
that's a good one.
Sprigatito, Quaxley, and
Oh,
Frococo.
yes. That would be so good to advertise. Oh my God, that would be so
Mhm.
good to advertise Pokemon. They should absolutely do that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wow, that is a good one.
I think another one was the Fire Emblem, Three Houses,
3 houses, that's good.
Yeah, Dimitri,
They
Claude, and
really do this
Edelgard.
to advertise their other games, and, like, I would be for that.
Yeah. No, it's really, that would be pretty good. I'm thinking condiments like mustard, mayo, ketchup, or sriracha. I'll be down.
They did,
They did,
they did do a Splatfest that
uh
was ketchup versus mayo,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
was the wildest Splatfest because, first of all, the ketchup looked like blood.
Yeah, literal
And then
blood.
you should never have white ink ever, ever. They should never do that again.
That cream color.
It was so
Like
suggestive.
you just knew. You just knew.
Oh, Maddie brings up a
What
good one.
else?
Peach, Daisy, Rosalina.
Okay, Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina. That's a good
That's a good
one.
one. Which team
Mhm.
would you be out of those?
Daisy. I'm Team Daisy always and
Ooh.
ever.
I would be
Yeah,
Rosalina for that one.
that's a good one. I'm thinking, is anything Zelda related? Like,
Someone said the Triforce, like wisdom, power, courage.
okay, that's a good
That'd
one.
be good. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
3 things.
I'm trying to think of like, yeah. Ooh, that's hard.
Like general things too. Like rock, paper, scissors is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what else? I don't know. I can't think of anything on
I'm
the top of my
sure
head.
lots
I
of people
hope
will come up with lots of ideas though.
I just hope they advertise more of their like as we said, more of their games that has a lot of threes going on. So It'd be good to, you know what, that's the one thing I want Splatoon to do is a little bit more crossover with other franchises. Animal Crossing dropped the ball on that one because
Yes.
3DS did a very good job of bringing in all the Nintendo stuff.
Yep.
And then the new one, I mean, like they did a Metroid helmet or whatever. I remember, but that's pretty much it. Like they didn't do so much over there. So hopefully Splatoon 3 advertise your Nintendo content like crazy. That would be cool.
I'm trying to think of other things. I feel like now I want to brainstorm a bunch of ideas for some.
You just want to go through now.
Yeah. Because I feel like maybe they were running out of possibilities for like 2 things. Now they have to like think of 3. But
yeah, now they have to think of 3 things. Yeah. I just think of like, remember salt and pepper? What would be the third thing with salt and pepper? What would be the third thing?
I don't know why I just thought of Blue's Clues and how Salt and Pepper, wasn't that like they were like a couple and they had their kid Paprika? Was it Paprika?
Yes. I don't recall Paprika, but I remember Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper. They had a little baby named Paprika.
Okay, someone's screaming out Paprika.
Edgardo said chocolate, strawberry, vanilla ice cream. That's a good one. That's a really good one. What team would you be?
Vanilla. I'm always vanilla.
Yeah, it would be vanilla too.
So, cool.
Oh, Nindies said it first. Edgardo's giving credit to Nindies. Yeah, I think there's lots of ideas that they could do. I'm like looking around my room for ideas. I don't know why.
You're just like looking around.
Like I want to think of more ideas.
Xbox, Switch, and PS5.
Could you imagine?
Let's do it.
Imagine. Holy crap. That would be so funny. That would be really funny. Wow. I
know who would win that one, but still.
They would definitely rig it. Catface wants to know, how much do you love Big Man on a scale of big to man?
He's pretty cool. A lot of people love him. It's off the beaten path too. Like the past 2 games, he didn't have a third person, and now they do, and it's just this cool mana ray, eagle ray thing.
Yeah.
So
this whole time
cool.
he like talks, but like he makes a noise and then it's like translated. Like he's not a person. Like that's so weird to say because none of them are people, but like
I thought it was a side character too. I didn't imagine it being a third character, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Big Man's a big person." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like,
I know, I didn't even notice him at first.
Oh, he's a stingray. Actually, that is one of the few fish I did see and witness when I scuba dive. So they were really cool.
Yeah.
Pretty huge.
They are cool. Yeah, I do like Big Man. I was hoping that there would be like a male pop star, so I guess he counts, right?
It's a fish. But yeah, sure, it's a guy.
Yeah, it counts.
You said, so Ryfan said sub, grinder, and hoagie, and let me tell you, what is it? What is the difference?
It's the same thing. It's just a different word.
Okay.
For each. Yeah.
I've never heard of grinder in my life.
I think they say that in like New York or something. I don't know.
And hoagie's as a northern thing too. When I saw hoagies, it is a Philly thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cool.
Definitely hoagie.
I just guess so.
Yes, we like Big Man.
I mean, he's fine. Yeah, sure. Cool. Everyone loves him, apparently.
Everyone loves him, yes. Kyle the Pug wants to know, what was your favorite moment from the Splatoon 3 Direct, and what feature are you most excited for? He says, for me, it was the new Splatana weapon, the new and improved Splatfest, and Big Man. Does seeing this Direct change your mind about actually getting this game day 1? No. It makes me hope that I can play it early on review. I am so excited. And my favorite is the new Splatfests and the new weapons.
For me, it's definitely the table turf battles. I'm still cautiously optimistic with that one, because a card game, it's like either it works or it doesn't. Like sometimes they can be rigged. Sometimes certain cards are much better than others, and so it may just not be a fair game in general. But I'm very interested. I'm interested in what they did with this, because if they put it in here, then they believe in this mode.
True. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they test drove and made a lot of different modes that we pitched probably in this podcast, and they didn't fall and they didn't go through. But this
Yeah.
card battling game in Splatoon 3 made
Who
it
would have
through.
thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
We're
So
like,
I'm very
man, a
excited.
good spin-off would be like a 2D platformer, a tactical strategy game. Like, what were we like? How did they
Oh,
come
it
up
would
with
be
these
so good
things
if it was
that
a
we didn't
tactical.
even know we wanted? Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Did it change my mind? Honestly, I am here day one because Rebecca and everyone else is there day one. And everyone's excited for Splatoon.
It's so
And
much better with friends.
I want at least one game where I like to play with other people. And Splatoon's that one game. I don't normally play any other multiplayer games. Very rarely. So this is it. Splatoon 3 is it. I'm ready to play with you all.
I'm so happy and excited. I will not shut the heck up about this game. So be ready. Be ready, everybody.
Let's do it.
Anything else you want to say about Splatoon 3? It's going to take me a while for me to remember that it's not Splatoon 2, because I feel like that's been rolling off of my tongue. Splatoon 3, we're finally here. 1 month.
Or the third one, the end of the saga, just like a Xenoblade Chronicles. We're at the end game now.
Oy.
So, yeah, excited.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's it.
This is a little piece of cool news that I saw this, but it didn't make huge headlines. I'm like, this is the kind of thing that I feel like is the coolest thing ever. So, do you remember the game Super Punch Out on the Super Nintendo?
I do know that one, yes.
It came out in 1994, 28 years ago, same year as us, as we.
Oh, goodness.
Just this past week, a person found a hidden 2-player mode for the first time. This was just discovered for the very first time. So this account that is known as Unlisted Cheats, they have uncovered a hidden mode in this game. So when you're on the start screen, you need to have 2 controllers plugged in for this. On the second player's controller, first you hold Y and R, and then on the first player's controller, you press either start or A, and it will bring you to this screen where you can pick a character. Any of the boxers that are in the game, you can pick one of those for player 2, and player 2 can hold down B and A on the controller, and then a match will begin where you can actually play 2 players in this. Nobody had any idea that you could do this before. So this is all on the original cartridge. There's no modifications. There's no hacks. Go boot up your game. It also works on Nintendo Switch Online. You just need 2 controllers for it and put those button inputs. No one knew about this beforehand. So people are wondering, was this like some kind of debug mode? Was this like a mode that was planned but canceled? Something else? Who knows? What the heck? It amazes me, Garrett, that people are still finding these things in these games 28 years later.
How could you figure this out too, unless you're really getting into, like, you break the game? Like, even this game's been
It's not in the source code. It's not like,
yeah.
I don't know.
This
It's
is kind of
like,
crazy.
yeah. Yes, you can play it. You can. That's so. XP asked a really good question. Can you play it online on NSO? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
I think you would have to do it locally, because I feel like it's probably not programmed to allow you to play it online. I don't know. That's a good question.
I wouldn't think so, just because how could you join together? in a
Yeah.
menu. You can't. Because the online play is meant for like when you go to a multiplayer screen or something
Mm-hmm.
like that in the game, or a two-player screen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, this is really interesting, and you have the exact instructions to do it, so you can
Mm-hmm.
try it out and
It's
do it.
not split
It's
screen,
crazy.
so it's
Yeah,
the first
it's just
player is
one
still
screen.
playing as, the character that you always play as, and then who's a Little Mac or whoever, and
Mhm,
then the second player is playing as whatever boxer you pick in the background. So it's still kind of that same front and back perspective.
mhm.
Um, it is very weird that this was not discovered. Very weird that this exists. I don't know how he uncovered it. It's crazy. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
because you press random buttons and like, yeah, unless you really got into the source code of the ROM, I don't know how.
Which, like, even if, like, the fact that I don't know how, yeah, I don't know how they never saw this before. I guess, like, this isn't a
Yeah,
huge game that people are picking apart and analyzing on a daily basis, like your typical Mario or Zelda. But
but
it
still,
makes me
it's
wonder.
an
Oh, yeah.
SNES game.
Yeah. And it's a
Like,
first party game. Yeah.
it's a first party, yeah, and people are just figuring this out. This is kind of crazy.
Mhm. Makes me wonder what other, like, secret hidden things are still waiting to be discovered that we might not figure out for years and years and years.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
long time
true.
to go undiscovered. And it also, you know what? It also makes me wonder if sometime back in 1994, 1995, somebody out there had two controllers plugged in
Yeah, two
and
controller.
somehow accidentally pressed that exact button combination and, like, saw that and, like, knew about it, but just never said anything to anyone.
Well, I'm
Didn't
sure
know it was special.
the thing is in 1994,
There was no
even
way to.
if you said something, it would just be with your friends in the
Yeah.
park, in the playground. It would not be on the internet. It would not be on YouTube,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, during that time, it was, yeah, you're not
You and
spreading all
I
this
want to
information out.
know if, and there's no way to prove it. Like, somebody could be like, "Oh my god, like I played that with my friend. Like, we thought it was just in the game." You would never be able to prove that you did that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Crazy.
that's super cool. And I'm sure the developers were like, well, we tried this out. Don't advertise this, but we're not removing it because it would mess up the game. So we're just gonna put it in there and have a
Right,
secret
right,
combination
right.
lock on it.
Man, crazy. I love stuff like that. I know that might not be everybody's favorite, favorite thing, but I love hearing about things discovered years later like that.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. It reminds me of a lot of this year's Elden Ring, where I feel like that game is vastly more complicated and like
Mhm.
so deep. And like,
Mhm.
even though there's so many playthroughs of that game online through streaming through YouTube, I'm sure years from
Oh
now,
yeah.
you're gonna find a hidden wall and you're still
Yes.
gonna unlock this completely new dungeon. It's
Yes.
like it's kind of like that near automata thing. Did I follow up with you with
Yes.
that? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we talked about it. We didn't talk about it on here. We
Good.
talked about before we knew it was a hoax. We talked about it on the show. So maybe fill
Yes.
people in real quick.
Yeah, so basically there was this like this hidden room in the game Near Automata that mimicked a church, and all the community there was freaking out. I was like, how did you figure this out? We didn't see this before. How did you get in there? Like, and then modders were like, you can't mod this in. Like, this is impossible to do. So this must be real. And then it eventually showcased it as a modeling, or like a mod toolkit
It's brand
for the
yeah,
game.
they were advertising their brand new mod toolkit,
Yeah, which is
which
super
is
cool to see.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
best kind of prank ever in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, it's really cool to see how games, there's just some hidden thing like, I'm sure there's so many hidden things in games that we just don't
It
know
kind of
yet.
reminds me of Breath of the Wild too. Like, remember we were saying, "Oh my god, the game came out 4 or 5 years ago and people are still learning how to launch themselves across the map and things like that."
Yeah,
I think we'll
yeah,
see that a lot in Elden Ring too.
definitely.
So that wraps up for the news. We didn't have a whole lot of news this week. It was very Splatoon focused, as it should
Very
be.
Splatoon. Yes.
But we do have some questions directly from you to answer, starting with Jules. Do you want to take this one, Garrett?
Sure. So Jules asked, hold on, let me pull up my notes
You
here.
want me to read the question while you?
Yeah, you read the
something else?
question. I'm going to pull this up.
So Jules wants to know, it's Wii Shop Wednesday. You've got 2,000 Wii points. What are you buying?
What are you buying? And we got something. Oh, man, I'm going to have to share my audio again. Let's see how this goes. All right, it's going to take a little bit. Oh, actually, okay, hold on. There we go. All right, you guys ready? All right, there we go. Our favorite video. Do you hear it?
The best. Yeah.
Okay, good. I think everyone can hear it too.
Matt, yeah, update day.
Update day.
Wii titles. What? I'm in the bathroom. Update day for the Wii shopping channel. It's funny because normally they do it at midnight, but it's like 11. It's like 11:15.
They're in Japan.
What's it in Japan?
I love that grooving. What kind of music is that? Like a bossa nova beat? Makes me really want to just.
I love it so much.
You know what we should do? We should write a song for our act with titles of Wii games.
Oh, I like it.
Because
I like
everybody
it.
knows about the Wii shopping channel, and everybody loves to shop on it every Wednesday.
Everybody loves
We
that.
should write a theme song for the Wii shopping channel. Look, watch this. Watch it. Watch it. You can sing to the titles. Super Mario.
Mario RPG.
Super Mario 3. Mega Man. Turf Masters. Breaking Star. You know what I mean, Jared?
Yeah.
Like every star. You say the lyrics of the. Let me try one.
Super Mario RPG, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong 3, Adventures of Lolo 1 and 2.
Oh, that's just amazing.
Juman Fu, Harvest Moon.
You write this song?
Link Puzzle Pokemon.
Did you write this song?
Jam and Earl and Panic on Funkotron.
There was a time where I watched this every single
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, they do it so well. Like, this is pinnacle beginning YouTube video. Like, this is the craft right here. It was so good.
This is old YouTube. Yeah, this was before YouTube went down the drain.
Yes.
Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden
Gaiden 3. Cruising USA.
So good.
Oh, this is good stuff. Wow.
Nirvana.
There you go, guys. Our favorite
Not the real band.
time.
That is the YouTube channel.
Not a real band.
Yes, We Shop Wednesday, 2,000 points. What's that? $20? I hated
That
the
is
big point.
$20.
I always
Me
hated
too.
that because the games were never exactly that, many dollars. Like, you would have to put on more dollars than you would have points or whatever because of taxes, and there'd always be left over with like a little bit more, and it never like really came out to what it should be.
Yeah. So that's true. And every time you go on the eShop, it's like, oh man, I need 200 more points. Oh, I need to put 1,000 more points in order to get that 200 more points. That was the strategy, right?
I think I think so. I think something like that. I probably with 2,000 points, I would probably buy Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask because I think they were 1,000 points each. So I'm going 2 big games instead of lots of smaller games.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. 2,000 Wii points. What am I getting? I am getting probably. Oh man. So if SNES games were $750 each.
That's what Jules is saying. Jules says that NES games were like 500. Super Nintendo were 750. Like, that's such like a random number. Like, if you were trying to get multiple,
I saw some 800s in that screen or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Exactly, but I'll definitely get A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
That
I
would
got
have
that
to
on
be
the
in there
laptop.
for sure. I think that would be an 800 one, just because, it being Legend of Zelda. I would get that. I would probably get Donkey Kong Country 2.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, and I don't know what to get for an NES game. Maybe the original Super Mario one
Okay.
or something like that. Yeah.
This one.
I actually got no, wait. Yeah, I got I got Majora's Mask on Wii.
You did. Ooh.
I did. But I played a little bit and then I'm like, I'm good. And then I did not play it as much. What else did I get on the Wii Shop? Very little. I got very little
me
Wii
too.
Shop stuff.
I know I got A
Yeah.
Link to the Past because I bought that on every system that it exists on.
Yeah. That YouTube video is such a time capsule. It reminds me
It is. It's so
a
good.
2006, 2005 era,
Mhm.
middle school, just figuring out YouTube. It was such wild territory back then, and that video was pinnacle. That was so good.
The humor of YouTube back then definitely was a lot different than it is now.
Yeah, the
YouTube has
timing of
changed
their
so
video.
much. like-
the camera controls. It's so good.
And just like the lines, like like everyone loves to shop on the Wii eShop every Wednesday. Like, no, they don't.
it's 11:37. What time is it in Japan? Turn that up.
Yeah, that's so good. Is this a bossa nova beat?
And those guys, it reminds me so much of like the college kids back then, or like the older
Yeah.
people back then, just
The older
like
people.
spacey, sort of high, and it just wants to like just play games
I
all the
want to
time.
know where they are now. Where are those two guys now?
I'm sure they have families and successful somewhere. I hope, just like I hope they're doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wii Shop. I miss the music. I don't miss much else.
Pretty much.
Question from Keanu Meeves. He actually says no question. Just want to say the show is excellent and the hosts are awesome. Thank you, Keanu Meeves.
Thank you, Keanu Meeves.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah. I don't know. Someone loves
Head
Keanu
scratcher.
a
Head
lot.
scratcher there. Thank you, Keanu.
Yeah, head scratcher. I don't know.
Goose Days 99 wants to know who is our celeb crush.
Oh man, I did not prepare for this. Hold on. I gotta look her up real quick. There was I don't know why I forget the name. I always forget the name.
You don't remember the name of your celeb crush?
Putting me in the moment right now.
I'm gonna
I
rate
forget a lot
your
of stuff.
celeb crush, and then you can rate my celeb crushes.
Oh, okay. It was Allison Brie.
Who?
Allison Brie.
Who's that?
She won in Community.
Oh yeah, she's pretty. I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good celeb crush.
That was my
Community.
celeb crush.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's pretty funny. It was like during college, like early college for us, like 2012, 2013, something like that.
I like it. My only celeb crushes are women, and
Okay.
I have a big crush on Maya Hawke, who plays Robin in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah. She's
Heck
the best.
Heck yeah. And doesn't everybody have a crush on Mila Kunis?
Mila Kunis. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, she is in our vein too. Like she is a nerd. Very nerdy.
And Ashton Kutcher. Okay, so I like her and her
I
husband,
love
Ashton Kutcher, also a crush. So
Whew,
both of them,
Ashton Kutcher is a looker.
perfect.
Let me tell you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are my celeb crushes. I also like Emma Watson and Emma Stone.
Emma Watson's pretty good. I love Emma Stone a lot. She's a good actress. And then someone says Lily Collins. That's a good one. She's kind of a newer actor. But yeah, good stuff.
Yes.
Not Megan Fox.
Maya Hawke is Ethan Hawke's daughter. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then finally, TPR wants to know of the 4 major people you come across in Breath of the Wild. I guess he's talking about the like the species here: the Rito, the Gerudo, the Goron, and the Zora. Which are your favorites? He says, I'm at Gerudo Town now for the 3rd Divine Beast, and they're great. But I think my favorites so far are the Gorons. They're so wholesome, a bit stupid, and funny, very charming. I mean, they roll around, eat rocks, what's not to like? He says, I haven't met the Rito yet, other than Cass, who I love, but I'll give my take on them when I visit them for the final Divine Beast. I'll have some thoughts. I want to hear yours.
I don't like Rito people as much.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for that. I'm not. I didn't have any like emotion towards anyone. More than anything, it would be Zora. I think that's just the one I gravitate more towards, just because I do like the water and more water element type of in Zelda more than anything. I think Gorons are okay, but it's just the color palette in that town is so flat and so brown, and so I'm kind of bored when I go over there. Like in Ocarina of Time, when I went over there, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be kind of bored over here, just because like it's not like colorfully diverse or anything like that. But that's
Which I
just
feel
me.
like they could, because if like you think about rocks and stones and stuff, like there could be very colorful rocks and stones and like gems. They
Right.
can incorporate like a lot of gemstones into their town. That's why
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But yeah, I would go Zora. This is my choice. What about you?
So my favorite champion is Mifa the Zora. But I think as a whole, I definitely think the Rito. I like the Rito a lot more in Breath of the Wild
Okay.
than I did in the first game that they were in, Wind Waker. They have a different design. They look so good in Breath of the Wild, and I think their village is really cool. I don't want to spoil it for TPR, but it is very cool how it's set up. Very good music there. And I think that they are the Rito that you meet are very humorous. They're very funny. They have like a lot of wit about them, especially Rivali. So I would probably say the Rito out of those 4.
Okay. Sounds good.
Man, TPR's questions are really making me nostalgic for Breath of the Wild, and like I keep wanting to pick it up again, but like I don't want to do it too early. I want it to be closer to Breath of the Wild 2. Like I keep wanting to pick it up, but then I tell myself, hold on, just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I wonder if I'll ever replay that game. As I always say, I'll play the other ones first. I'll play Majora's Mask. I
Wait, did
actually
you
picked
not
up
finish Majora's Mask?
No, I picked up my 3DS like last week. Just like I brought it to the office just to play it like for 30 minutes during lunch break, and I'm like, man, that system is still so solid. I love my 3DS to death.
It's so good.
So many good games. Definitely, yeah, I need to play Majora's Mask on there. I honestly, I wish I had a 3DS XL. No joke. Even though I have a 2DS XL, has the same capabilities and everything, of course, except for the 3D effect. But there are certain games that are good with 3D. And then there's also the fact that the form factor is a lot more stable, whereas the 2DS XL is very flimsy, especially it's very bottom heavy and not top. So,
I was
but
gonna
yeah,
grab mine, but I think I had it on the table, and I think my cat pushed it off the table, and now it's probably in my bed or something.
right.
I think I have the 2DS XL. I got it refurbished off of Nintendo's website. Are they still selling them refurbished?
Not right now. I think they sold out, and if you look on eBay now, used 3DSs are getting up there, like like $270, $300 up there. You can get a Japan imported 3DS XL, new 3DS XL if you want for cheaper. The thing is with that, it is region locked, and so what you're gonna have to do is hack it. if you want to have any use
Yeah.
out of a
Yeah,
Japan
'cause-
imported 3DS XL.
Yeah, you don't want to buy all those imported games. That will cost $1 million.
That and like you won't be able to understand it that much either. So yeah, I would that's one route to go. I heard actually I saw a couple of recent videos. Did you know that there are different screens for the new 3DS XL? There are some 3DS XLs that have the IPS screens, and then some that have the tinted what's it called, like I forgot the other panels, like tinted lighted panels
No,
instead
but
of
it
the
wasn't like an
IPS screens.
advertised thing. It's just a change
No,
that they
it's
made at some
completely
point.
random. Yeah,
Wow.
it's not anything related to do what's new or old in the new 3DS XL. It just depends on shipment batch.
Wow, interesting.
They never advertised it. And also, so guys out there, if you have a 3DS XL, new 3DS XL, check out your screens.
Just the 3DS XLs, not the 2DS, new 2DS?
Right. Just the new
Okay.
3DS XLs. If you check different angles of your new 3DS XL and you notice a kind of a blackout or kind of a blurriness or whatever, you can't see anymore, you have the regular tinted panels. If you have an IPS screen though, you can see it in all different angles. It looks very crisp, very clear. It's a lot
So
brighter
those
as
might
well.
be more sought after. You could probably get
Yeah.
more money for it if you were trying to sell it, or it might cost more money if you're trying to buy it.
Yeah, I don't know if people really pay attention to that much.
Right.
But I think eventually people will pay attention to it
Right.
when it gets really
I'm sure.
yeah, Yarden says that's actually kind of a big deal. I think it's a big deal later on when it becomes really scarce, and if you want like
Mhm.
a very stable 3DS, those ones are going to be great legacy consoles, I think, for people out
sure.
there. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that is gonna do it for this week. Stay woomy, everybody. Stay fresh. I will probably watch this Splatoon Direct at least 3 or 4 more times within the next week. And then we don't have that much longer to go. We have 3 weeks until September, 4 weeks until Splatoon 3.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe that we are approaching the end of the summer already, Garrett?
Yeah, and you start school pretty soon.
Yeah.
Very close to it. Back to school. I've been seeing the deals.
Back to
Costco
school.
has the Halloween costumes. I couldn't believe it. I'm
Oh,
just
I'm
like,
gonna be
stop.
honest. I already purposely went to a store to buy Halloween things because I knew they had Halloween things for sale.
Oh my god. I don't want to think
I'm a
about
Halloween
right now.
person, Garrett.
I mean, okay, if you're a Halloween person, go for it, but
I bought a
Whew,
little
too
thing
early.
that says fall. Like there's a little. It's like I'm all about it. It's just barely August, and I'm all about it.
Nice.
Fall, Halloween.
Cool.
I love it. All right, that's gonna do it. We will see you next week, Koopalings. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.